I wanted to bring a point that that Chief Owa brought up earlier regarding how people think that they fall out of the sky and that they're better than you are. Uh, I have a chance to work with a lot of people from different cultures, and I have a young Indian guy who's darker than I am. And, Indians always tend to think that they are better than Black people or people of darker complexion. It's in their culture as a result of the caste system. Well, when I looked at him and I began to talk to him, I kind of jokingly asked him, was he aware of his African ancestry? And he kind of looked at me and like shook his head like, no, that's not true. As I began to look at the Dravidians and ask the question, what is the African heritage in India? What I found in the information was the fact that Africans had populated the southern area of India. And as a matter of fact, over the history, they were a very peaceful people. As a result of invasions by the Aryans, they coalesced further into the southern part of India. These individuals were warlike and were on horses. And we know that throughout history, that every time another group comes in contact with another group in terms of conquest, if that other group comes in with a technology or a usage of whatever they're using in warfare that the other group doesn't have, then that other group is at a disadvantage. And so at that time, the Africans were not used to using horses in warfare in terms of having cavalry. We see that same thing here that happened in the United States during the in the early West, where the Indians had to confront the Europeans in terms of land conquest, because the Europeans here had horse soldiers. The Indians were not used to using horses in warfare, but they learned very early. So you have that same kind of relationship throughout history. If some culture is using metal on their arrow tips and another culture is only just whittling down and just cutting arrow tips in their arrows, that other culture who's using metal has an advantage. So in the process of history, there was warfare between the Aryans and the Africans tried to hold out for a long time. But eventually, those Africans that were in the southern part of India were conquered. And as a result of that, the Aryans started intermarrying with the African women. As a result of that, you had different skin colors started to accumulate. The Dravidians were selected because of their darker skin color to be at the bottom of the social caste, while those with lighter skin colors, because of the mixture, chose to become placed at the pinnacle of the society. So, I guess what we should do in a situation like this is we need to understand where we are and how we function in history. You have somebody who has the skin, he's jet black, he's darker than you are, but he doesn't want to admit that he has any African or any African roots in his genome. And so you ask, well, where did it just fall out of the sky? Where did it come from? Do you know who you really are and where you come from? And we, as African people, need to be asking these people when we see them, do you know where you came from? And, for instance, look at Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley wants us to come here and talk about, well, we don't have any discrimination here in the United States, but she's Indian. And African Americans should be asking her a question about, well, what are you going to do for African Americans? Because, you know, you come from us. That would really be something, wouldn't it? That would really shake that up. So I just overheard this conversation this morning, and I just wanted to bring that because even a lot of us don't understand how far we go back into the world civilizations and the creation of world civilizations and what we have added to other cultures and where other cultures even come from. And they have the audacity to try to make like they are better than you are as an person of African descent. So, as Aristotle said, or I may be mistaken, you can correct me, man, know thyself. African man, woman, know yourself as you travel through this journey. That's all I have to add. Igbo,